We ask our dear Lord to give us strength. We ask our dear Lord to give us power. We ask our dear Lord to give us force. We ask our dear Lord to give us assistance. We ask our dear Lord to give our spirit a boost of spirit from you, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. We need it for everything. We need that spirit to think. We need that spirit to feel. We need that spirit to walk in the path of guidance. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. فإنه لا حول ولا قوة إلا بك. There is no strength except the strength that comes through you and from you. We only rely on your help and assistance individually and collectively. We only rely on your strength and assistance. Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Arhamar Rahimin, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Give us strength, give us strength, give us strength so we may rise to the peace that you want us to make, so we can rise to the peace that you want us to realize, the peace of your presence. حضرة السلام اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يعود السلام فحينا ربنا بالسلام تباركت وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Indeed, peace is a great thing. Peace is an important value. Peace is the very quality of the divine. Peace is the quality and the description of the holy presence of God. The presence of God is called Hadratus Salam. The presence of God is called As-Salam. Though we are selling that word very short today. We are selling that word very short today. And what's peace? Individually. What's peace of mind for you? What's peace in a group, in a community? What is peace in a society? We need to meditate on these things, really. What's the posture that you want to have in this society? Do you want to be a peacekeeper or you want to become a peacemaker? What is the personality that you want to develop in your child? You want your child to grow and become a peacemaker, or just you want your child to keep the status quo and just be a peacekeeper and keep things the way they are and not challenge anything, just to be at peace? Individually, for example, if I take, for example, the peace of mind, there is a peace of mind which is beyond, or less, lower. The peace of mind that you can get when you are in a place that is lower than intelligence. And that's the peace of mind that animals have. I don't think that's the kind of peace of mind that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing in the Quran when He speaks about as-sakina, and the peace of mind, which is and the peacefulness, which is the quality of the holy presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't think that's the same thing. There is a peace of mind that comes from being unconscious of a problem, and that's not peace. There is a peace of mind that comes when you ignore the existence of a problem and do not want to look at it, when you keep ignoring it. There are many problems in your life, there are many problems in your health, there are many problems in, let us say, in your society, there are many problems around you. But you do not want to challenge that. You do not want to wake up to think about that. So you keep doing things, distracting yourself, or not thinking at all about these things, these matters. So you keep at peace. Many spiritual people today, they mistake the peace as-salam, the divine quality which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inviting us to, with that kind of bestial peacefulness, that bestial state of just being grazing. يأكلون كما تأكل الأنعام, grazing like an'am, like animals, and sleeping like animals, and just chilling like animals, and not thinking of anything that would challenge their consciousness. That's not a real peace of mind. That's not a real peace of mind. That hides a big defeat. That hides a big war inside. That hides a big defeat. You defeated yourself. Now there is a peace of mind that comes after waking up and looking at the problem, looking at the mission, looking at the purpose, looking at the challenge, after the turmoil, after thinking, after squeezing your mind, after realizing your powerlessness, and after realizing that there is a power, there is la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, there is a power which is always there for you, which is the power of the divine. There is a source of power you need to connect to overcome all your challenges and problems. And then when you connect to that source of power, you feel empowered. You feel empowered. And that brings you peace. That brings you peace, or that allows you into the divine presence, which is Hadrat al-Salam, which is the peace. You see the difference between the two states. One of them is below intelligence, below the human intelligence, below the rational. One of them is above the rational. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not create us to ignore our rational. We need to at least be rational. We need to at least rise to the rational mission, to the rational challenge, to the rational maqam, station. At least we need to look at things from a rational point of view, at least. But because the rational point of view does not allow us, does not help us to find peace, the rational point of view will help us at least to refuse the fake peace, to reject the fake peace, which is the bestial peace. We are just grazing, the animal peace, eating like everyone, shopping like everyone, consuming like everyone, polluting the environment like everyone, and not seeing any problem in anything like everyone. That peace that comes, for example, from egocentrism or from egoism, being egoist, being selfish, not thinking of others. Who cares? I'm okay. That peace of mind that comes from who cares about the others? I'm okay. I'm eating, I'm drinking, I have electricity in my home, I have water, I have food. We said that's a fake peacefulness. That's not a peaceful state, really. It's not, because that's what will cause the disaster afterwards. That will cause the biggest wars afterwards, within you and around you. Now when you wake up, when you challenge that peace, when you reject, when you refuse that fake peacefulness, absolutely you will find yourself struggling, and the rational is the place of struggle. The rational is the place of struggle, place of thinking, place of consciousness development, the place of looking at the problems, looking at things the way they are, not taking anything for granted, and that makes someone tired. And a group of people, if they want to start thinking, solving their problem, absolutely, there will be a turmoil, there will be crisis, there will be something, there will be a movement. We said individually and collectively, it is the same thing. I gave you the example of one person, and we gave the example only of the peace of mind to understand the approach. Now, after thinking, and after seeing the challenge, and after starting that struggle, that jihad within, we connect to the divine, the true connection, not a fake, not a fake routine, not a fake religious routine, the dead weight that we are carrying every day. No, not a religious routine that we are carrying every day that is not feeding our spirit. No. God is only there when you become muftar. God is only there for the needy. God is only meaningful and alive and present for those who need God. And for you to realize that place of neediness and that you actually need God, you need to live your crisis. You need to rise to your crisis. You need to get to the crisis point. God is only there for people in crisis. God is not there for people who do not know their crisis. God is only there for people who realize and acknowledge their problems. God hasn't any presence, hasn't any relevance, does not have any relevance for people who do not have a challenge in their lives, do not know the challenge of their life. You understand that? Same thing for groups. The presence of God becomes only meaningful and relevant when that group of people, they refuse the fake peace, the fake that is coming from keeping the status quo the way it is, not bothering the status quo the way it is, just keeping things like that, just to not bother, just to keep going. And we know how things can grow on us. We see in many countries, and many of you come from third world countries, and actually even Ottawa became like that now. It's not a matter of third world country. And how when garbage starts piling and stinking and it grows on you, it becomes something that doesn't bother you anymore. Slowly. We know that part of us, that instinct, that animal instinct of us to just survive, to not bother, just want to survive, In order for us to survive, we accept the atrocities, we accept the contradictions, we accept things that are not acceptable. Think about it. How many things have you accepted in your life as an individual, and have we come to accept in our lives as a group? How many things in order for us to just keep surviving, to keep that peace? God does not come to that point. You cannot meet God in that point of unconsciousness. God is only there for conscious people, and for you, when you rise to your consciousness, for sure you rise to your crisis, you rise to discover the problem of your life, and that will give you panic, it's not easy. It's not easy, and it's not pleasant to be conscious. It's not pleasant to be conscious of the problem. It's not easy. Again, individually and collectively, as a family, as a community, as a big society, it's not easy, it's not pleasant to become conscious that things are not working, to become conscious that some things need to change, need to evolve, need to grow. It's not easy. But only there we can meet God. Only there we can meet Allah. Only there we can, the word Ya Allah becomes meaningful. You understand? Because that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الْمُضْطَرِّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ. Does not answer the prayer of anyone. He only answers the prayer of al-muttar, the needy. The one who realizes the need. Those who are okay, I'm okay, their prayers are not. Those who are okay and feel okay about something, I mean, that prayer does not meet God. There is no meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no meeting with al-haq, with the truth, because God is the truth. If you are fake, if you are unconscious, God is the supreme consciousness. If you are completely unconscious, how can you meet God in your prayer? So when you become conscious of the problem, and when we become conscious of the problem as a group, as a collective, as a society, then God becomes really near. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الْمُضْطَرِّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ وَيَجْعَلُكُمْ خُلَفَاءَ الْأَرْضِ أَإِلَٰهٌ مَعَ اللَّهِ. Then we find God near. Then God is relevant. Then the haqq, the truth, is relevant. Then we connect to God as the source of power, and that source of power gives us empowerment, and that empowerment gives us peace, the true peace, the peace that makes us feel above everything, the peace that makes us the sakina, the peace which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls as sakina in the Quran. And that sakina that makes you feel that you can do everything you need to do. You can overcome any problem that comes in your journey, that encounters you in your journey, because you are empowered by Hadrat al-Salam, by the holy presence of al-Salam subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma anta al-salam wa minka al-salam wa ilayka ya'udu al-salam. Allahumma anta al-salam wa minka al-salam wa ilayka ya'udu al-salam. So let us not sell peace for short. Politically, we are talking about the peace truce today and things like that. And always that misunderstanding of peace, I want just to live. I want to survive. Leave me alone, just want to survive. Don't bother me with deep questions. Why this khatib is always bothering us? Why can't he just talk about normal religious topics? That's it. Let me teach you about nawafil, qiyam layl. Let me teach you about fasting Monday and Thursday. Let me teach you about actions and not challenge your mind at all. Not think at all. That's why we prefer dead religion to living spirituality. The majority of us do. That's why we, and quote unquote, that's why we prefer a dead religion, a dead religious routine, something that as long as it doesn't challenge me, as long as I can just, keep surviving. I put it on my routine and then I keep surviving. It becomes part of my schedule and I keep surviving unconscious. That's why we prefer death to life. Because life is challenging. Life is challenging. Look at when someone is overcome by depression or something like that, and there is no criticism of depression here because it would be self-criticism, but we are talking about just to contemplate, to think about, to meditate on the state. Depressed people, they tend to sleep a lot. Why? Because depression comes from waking up to a problem and then you can't really solve it, so you want to sleep it off somehow. Can we say sleep off something? You want to sleep it off. And you know that sleeping is form of death. We prefer dead things, we prefer dead routines, give me just dead activities. Keep ourselves busy with things that do not challenge our mind, does not challenge our soul, does not challenge our heart. We prefer that as religious societies today. We do prefer that, unfortunately. But that does not take us anywhere. That does not take us to Hadrat al-Salam. That does not get us to the holy presence of As-Salam subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma anta as-salam wa minka as-salam wa ilayka udu as-salam. فحينا ربنا بالسلام وادخلنا دارك دار السلام تباركت وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. قولوا قولي هذا استغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا محمد بن عبد الله. الحمد لله. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام وإليك يعود السلام. فحينا ربنا بالسلام. This prayer has a story. This meditation has a story. Oh my dear Lord of mine was closer to me than myself. Allahumma anta salam. You are the peace. You are the source of peace. And the peace goes back to you. And peaceful souls, they will find their way. And souls that find peace will find, and souls that are empowered by your peaceful presence will find their way to you. This prayer has a story. We know that it was inspired to our mother Khadija alayha salam when she was actually suffering physically during the 2 years of boycott which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his family members had to endure in the beginning of the journey of inviting people to Islam. They put him and his family members in a sha'b Bani Hashim or sha'b Abi Talib, and they said, you do not sell them food, you do not give them food, you do not sell them clothes, you do not give them clothes. They are there until they actually come to a decision, the wise decision, which is all of them together, all the Bani Hashim together, disavowing Muhammad and all what he's doing, all what he's inviting people to. And absolutely Khadija alayhi salam, she was not from Bani Hashim, but she was given the choice to stay with her husband or go with her clan, and she went with her husband. And she had to suffer in that very, very, very difficult condition. It was a camp. It was a refugee camp. Very, very difficult condition. You can imagine in the heat, you can imagine in the cold. No food, no clothing. People really suffered a lot for these 2 years. And at the end of the second year, Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salam became very, very, very frail and became very, very sick. And one day, Jibreel, the holy presence of the divine empowerment, that's what Jibreel is, the breath of the divine empowerment came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and told him, I have a message for Khadija. Basically, I have an empowerment to go, a spiritual empowerment, a charge, a spiritual boost to go to Khadija and tell her that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving her peace, or is saluting her, is telling her, Assalamu alaikum. And then Sayyidah Khadija alayha salam, she answered, Allahumma anta salam, wa minka salam, wa ilayka udu salam, tabarakta wa ta'alayka ya dhal jalali wal ikram. We mentioned this story to understand that when Sayyidah Khadija alayha salam said these words, she was living in big difficulty. She did not keep peace. She was able to. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is criticizing those people who have chosen that. They said, إِنَّ اتَّبِعَكَ, if we follow you, نُتَخَطَّفْ مِنْ أَرْضِنَا, If you follow you, people will take us from we'll lose our lands, we'll lose our homes, we'll lose things. So let us stay the way we are. Let us keep peace. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is criticizing that position. I said that Khadija did not choose that position. She saw, she aligned herself with the Muhammadan consciousness, and she understood, with the boosted Muhammadan consciousness, and she understood that there is a problem. And that problem needs to be solved. And that problem needs to be challenged. And if there is a price to pay, we'll pay that price. If there is a sacrifice to be made, we'll be the generation that will make that sacrifice. So generations after us can be liberated, can be freed, can actually live and not only survive. I hope this meditation can help you, can help us in thinking and can think of what's going on in the holy land of peace, Darus Salam or Jarus Salam, Jerusalem. And you can think also of what's going on within you. And may you choose peace. May you choose peace, the real one, the peace that comes as an empowerment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The peace which is power from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not the peace which is accepting to be forever subjugated to the survival mode. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin ya rabbil alameen. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin ya rabbil alameen. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin ya rabbil alameen. While raising your adolescent children, it's very important to allow them to question. It's very important to allow them to question, because they are not supposed to keep the dogmatic peacefulness. Because dogmatic religion and dogmatic religious thinking can give you that sense of peace. Okay, khalas, don't need to challenge your mind, do not need to imagine. Yeah, that's it. I take my religion the way my father taught me, and that's it, that's the haqq, that's the truth. I don't need to challenge anything, I do not need to make my research, I do not need to think about it. You think that gives you to Iman? It does not give you to Iman. That does not lead you to Iman. That can't be called Iman. Iman only comes after Iman, which is receptivity of the divine light, only comes after you take the journey, you challenge yourself. You challenge the dogma that you've been fed. So allow your youth to get to that unpeacefulness, to that crisis. But let us develop means, let us develop ways to accompany them through that journey, which is a needed one. Because dogmatic thinking is not the solution to build a connection with God. That's also a fake peace. That's also a fake Islam. That's also a fake connection with God. It's not a true connection. Someone who never challenged anything, someone who just surviving his days like that and surviving her or his prayers, that's not really peace. That's not really Iman. That's not really Aman. Alhamdulillah, so as means to accompany our youth, we are proposing here at the Rawda Institute and Hamim Institute, we are proposing this program, Circle of Light, catering heart-to-heart connection with youth. We started last week, November 18th, but still, you can still bring your youth, you can still encourage them to register, inshallah, and we will be discussing questions that will help them go through their journey of faith and life. Ameen ya arhamar rahimin rabbil alameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali sayyidina Muhammad. Inna Allah ya'muru bil 'adli wal ihsani wa ita'i dhil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkari wal baghi ya'idukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. اذكروا الله يذكركم واشكروه على نعمه يزدكم
الحمد لله.
ولذكر الله تعالى أجل وأتم وأكبر والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر وأقم الصلاة.